Because again, right now you're not gonna get a lot of views just because it's your first time going live.
Yeah, no, for sure. So let's say I'm live now.
Yeah, so it'll whatever you working out the kinks. It ain't a big.
No, yeah, we ain't tripping. So then we're gonna go over to YouTube. Okay, so now I'm still in my studio. So now I should be. Actually, let's see.
Just go. No, go to your go to like regular YouTube. Like,
cool.
Just like if you're gonna go look for a video.
Alright, cool.
All right. Now go to my channel. Like, go, yeah. There you go. Now you see the video you have there?
Yeah.
You put cursor over. Now go to my channel. Like, go, yeah. There you go.
Hold on, I gotta mute this shit. Music. Yeah.
That's what I told you to do earlier.
Actually.
Channel. Like, go, yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so now you saying now where we at?
Yeah, so put the cursor over the comment where the StreamYard is. No. The comment.
This?
Oh, I can't see. You move it up.
Oh, my bad.
There you go. Now you see those three dots on the side?
Yeah.
You click it. Now it goes pin message. Boom. All right, so now it's pinned. So now when you talking, you could be like, anybody wants to call in, click the link that's pinned to the top of the chat. Now
okay.
You can exit out. You can exit out that YouTube channel.
Thanks.
Because now you can unmute.
Yeah,
and like the speakers, and now when people call in, you just hear them speak.
But I don't think because when I muted, I just muted when I was on YouTube. But that shit is off.
Okay, yeah. Oh no, so you're good. You're good now. Honestly, right now the way you got it set up is perfect. All you gotta do is just talk.
All right, bet. All right, we're gonna rock out just like this.
All right, cool.
All right, appreciate it. All right, that was me working the kinks out, guys. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to A-Side Boxing Talk. It's your boy Truth. Hey, listen, man. Sometimes you gotta work them kinks out. My boy, you gotta work them kinks out, man. Like I said, man, it's your boy Truth. Short for Truth Over Narrative. Fight day, man. Fight day. I'm real excited, man. Like I said, I did a lot of technical breakdown. I did a lot of talking. I did a lot of back and forth about this fight. I truly do think that Dimitri Bivol is gonna pull this off. But I mean, if he doesn't pull it off, I'm fine too. I mean, I thought I was gonna be able to put some money on it, but my bookie ain't come through for me. So at the end of the day, man, it's all good. But like I said, I think that this is gonna be probably Canelo Alvarez's toughest fight. Hitman, what's going on? What's going on, bro? I think this is gonna be Canelo Alvarez's toughest fight since Triple G. Just looking at the opponents, man. You got Caleb Plant, Billy Joe, Callum Smith, Abney Yildirim. I think those guys are. Excluding Abney Yildirim, more likely or more or less, Callum Smith, Caleb Plant, and Billy Joe. I mean, I think those guys all have something to offer, but it's just different than what Dimitri Bivol brings to the table. Bivol by decision. You know what I mean? Dimitri Bivol. He comes to fight, man. He got a little mean streak in him. Even a fight where you talk about, at the end of the 10th round where Joe Smith Jr. hit him with a hard overhand right, wobbled him, man. He went back to his corner, had a little blood coming out his nose. You know what I mean? Bivol composed himself. He went out there, and let's not act like at the end of the 12th round, it didn't damn near look like the end of the 12th round with Usyk and Joshua, with Bivol just wailing away and Joe Smith's on the corner trying to put up an inactive high guard. You know what I'm saying? So Bivol has shown the capacity to take a big punch and come back and still have success later on in those fights, man. Like I said, man, I just really think that this is going to be. I really think this is going to be one of them ones, man. I think this is going to be a great fight. I think the fans that's in Vegas, they in for a great show. And we just gonna see, man. We gonna see. But like I said, I really like this is a matchup of styles. They always say styles make fights, but you got Canelo. He's a great mid-range to inside fighter. You got Dimitri Bivol. He's a great long distance fighter. Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, he's a counter puncher. He liked to go to the body, definitely make those deposits to the body. Bivol, elite lead hand. I don't think that Canelo has faced a fighter with the lead hand dominance that a Dimitri Bivol possesses. I think that's very important because sometimes when later on in fights, Canelo's able to just kind of walk in there and and get his work off, sit on punches, go into the body, hit you with combinations, kind of frustrate you and fluster you. But I don't think he's gonna have that ability with Bivol, because Bivol is always in there thinking. He's a thinker, you know what I'm saying? So hey guys, the stream, the stream, it's in the chat, man. If you want to jump in, holla at me. We could talk about the fight. You know what I mean? We could talk about some other fights we got going on. Planning on being here for a little bit of time, you know what I mean? While we obviously I know the fights just kind of started, but they doing the prelims, man. So I just figured it was a good time to, come on and talk about the fight and see what people think, man. And beyond that, man, I think Canelo Alvarez is in a win-win position. He started off, 14, 15 years old. He went pro. Canelo started his career at 147, so you got 47, 54, 60, 68, 75. So really, this guy's playing with house money, because he's fighting 5 divisions higher than he started at. So shit, I mean, he take a loss at 175. It is what it is. It's not really bad to take a L at 175, and then on top of that, you still undisputed at 168. And it's still a Benavidez, Charlo, Caleb Plant 2, possibly Demetrius Andrade, after he was supposed to fight May 21st, but ended up hurting his shoulder. So that fight has been postponed. But you still have a plethora of big money fights at 168 if he does happen to take the loss at 175. And that's what people don't understand. If I'm Canelo, I think he made the right choice. It's like, let's go chase greatness, right? Let's chase greatness. But at the end of the day, if we fall short, well then shit, we fell short. But we fell short chasing greatness. So like I say, I just think Canelo, he in a win-win position. Dimitri Bivol, I mean, he could make a statement. If the Bivol gets a win here, I don't see. Well, I mean, I know there's been words going back and forth, but the fact of the matter is, Eddie Hearn does do business with Top Rank. So if Dimitri Bivol gets a win, I don't think that he's Bivol's main promoter. But if Bivol gets a win against Canelo, well, shit, you still may see the undisputed light heavyweight championship fight on DAZN or ESPN. You know what I mean? So I just think for Bivol, he's in a win-win. You take a loss, and then you lost to Canelo Alvarez, right? You still got a couple other fights, you know what I mean, that you could actually go into. You still, like I said, 175 is not super packed. So Bivol taking a loss where he will go from the number 2 guy to maybe the number 3 guy behind the winner of Joe Smith and Better Beef. So, like I said, man, I just don't think it's a big loss, or if Canelo. I think these guys is in a win-win. He really don't got to worry about that. We do got Montana Love on the undercard, so I like Montana Love, man. I like Montana Love. He had a great showing on the Jake Paul undercard where he knocked out Ivan Barianchek. He showed that he had a chin. He got hit with some big shots from Barianchek, whatever his name is. He showed and he delivered the KO. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I think Montana Love. Initially, I think they brought him over to DAZN to possibly want a fight for Devin Haney at 140. Obviously, Devin Haney's over at Top Rank now, so we'll see, man. I mean, I watched they did a good job doing a background story on Montana Love, and he kind of showed what part of Cleveland he's from and the house he grew up in, and with his mom passed away there and stuff like that. It was a touching story, man. So I just hope that Montana Love could kind of make his name at 140. 140 is power pack. I think 140 is the deepest division in boxing. I was talking about it with somebody yesterday. I mean, Josh Taylor, Regis Prograis, Subriel Matias, Gary Antoine Russell, Elvis Rodriguez. You got Jose Ramirez, Charles Zepeda, Arnold Barboza, Alberto Puello. I mean, you got a Liam Paro. I mean, a guy that you don't want to sleep on. It's a lot of work at 140, man. A lot of work at 140. And speaking of 140, there's a guy that's actually signed the Golden Boy that fights on DAZN named Marcelino Nino Lopez, man, an Argentinian fighter. And that dude at 140, man, that dude was smoked at 140. Last time you seen him, I think it was on the, or what undercard was that? It was on the Haney Linares undercard. He fought Jairo Lopez, out of Mexico. Yeah. He fought Jairo Lopez out of Mexico, man. Marcelino Lopez, his name is, man. He's another guy at 140. I don't know what Golden Boy's doing with him, but a little older. I think he's about 33, 34, but that guy's strong. He's strong as well at 140. It's a lot of smoke up there, man. So we'll see, man. Hopefully, Montana Love is able to stay on the winning ways tonight. I think he will be able to. I'm not really familiar with the opponent that he has for the night, but I think that Montana Love will be able to kind of, do his thing and get past his opponent that he's facing tonight in order to kind of, boost everything. Boost his career up and keep himself going in the right trajectory. I think he is ranked in a couple of the sanctioning bodies at 140, so it shouldn't be long before he's looking at a top-notch fight, or maybe an interim or whatever how it go, depending on what Josh Taylor does with these belts. Last time we seen Josh Taylor was obviously, for the Catterall fight. Josh Taylor talked about how he wasn't going to be able to give Catterall a rematch because he's going up to 47. But he's still holding on to all those belts, man. So we don't know what Josh Taylor is going to do, what his plans is going to be, but I just hope that either he defends or vacates, man. I really want him to vacate and kind of move up and let that 140 mix start to bubble up. I mean, granted, I know we all waiting hands and feet on a Spence Crawford fight. But I definitely will be happy when those guys fight, so those belts could kind of, get relinquished, whether those guys move up to 54 or whatever happens with those belts, because I do want to see the new crop of welterweights, the Stanionis, the Boots, the Conor Benns, the Virgil Ortizes, if he can still make it, Alexis Rocha, Rashidi Ellis, who's now a PBC fighter, Keith Thurman, who's still at 147, the Ramos kid, that's at 147. Mike Fox, who's still at 147. There's a lot of guys in Butayev still at 147. There's a lot of guys as welterweights that are kind of, I don't want to say in limbo, because while waiting for Crawford and Spence, these guys can fight each other. But it's a lot of guys that's very deserving of title shots. It's kind of their time. It's kind of the end of that old reign at 147. And it's kind of time for this batch of new guys to come in at 147 and kind of take over and start to, showcase their talent and make their name and build their legacies. With Cody Crowley, you right, L-Dub. What's going on, L-Dub? Hey, listen, hold on. Let me stop that real quick. And if you could come in here if you want to, L-Dub. Definitely, I wouldn't mind speaking with you. But hey, L-Dub Boxing, man. He in the comments, he said it was good. He mentioned Cody Crowley. Go give him a follow, man. If you're watching this now, or you're watching it on a replay, that dude is like the boxing version of Miss Cleo. Man, this dude, but the real version, man. This dude, he gonna tell you he might as well be a promoter. LW, I don't know, man. You might have to put your promoter hat on, man, because the way you predict the fights that are coming up next, I swear, I mean, if you hit me in the DM and told me that Al Heyman was your source, bro, I wouldn't be mad at you, man. So I definitely will believe you, because yeah, you definitely know how to predict those fights. Definitely as far as looking at the rankings and kind of predicting which fights come next, man. LW is your guy. He definitely he do something on his page, and I think I saw you yesterday or the day before with breaking down the IBF rankings and who they had over there. So again, whether you watching this live or you catching this on the replay, my man, L-Dub Boxing, that's what you want to go check out, especially if you're trying to figure out who's going to fight next, or you kind of wondering about, what's in store for your favorite fighter, or, for fighters in the rankings. That's definitely something to look into, man. But yeah, man, Stink, man, Canelo, man. No, you already know, bro. You already know. I think Canelo can get it done tonight. I know a lot of people, looking at me, and I've been getting a lot of heat for this Bivol pick, man, but I do think Canelo can get it done. I think that, obviously with Bivol, he's 19-0, 11 KOs. And one thing that I really like about Bivol is not the fact that, they've been calling him Bivol and all of that, but Bivol, even though, he has the he has the propensity to kind of coast in fights and win by decision. All of the fights that he's won by decision all have been UDs. So this guy hasn't even lost on a judge's scorecard to this date, up until tonight. So we don't know. He doesn't know what it feels like to lose. And I think that he's one of those guys that if you're in a fight with him and you get off a good combination, he's coming right back. You know what I mean? He's not going to let you kind of get off, and he's not one of those guys that's going to lean and lay on the ropes and just kind of allow you to have your way with him. If Canelo rattles off a combination, you better believe he's going to start working that lead hand, and he's coming to throw his combination as well. That dude got a pinpoint cross. His cross is accurate as hell. You know what I'm saying? So if Canelo, he gotta be on his head movement tonight. Canelo gotta maybe not use that static high guard so much. He got to turn up, man. As much as Bivol is gonna have to make in-fight adjustments, I do think that that Canelo himself will have to make in-fight adjustments. I think that Canelo is gonna definitely have to rise to a new level. This is not going to be the Canelo that gets to, Canelo, he get the trotting forward, and that's how you know Canelo in his groove and dictating the pace and controlling distance. Canelo gets the trotting forward, he get on his head movement, and he start, moving with the punches and all of that. Bivol cannot allow that to happen. Bivol has to, I hope his conditioning is top notch, because Bivol has to come here tonight and he has to make, he got to make Canelo Alvarez fight for 36 minutes. No question. If Canelo is able to take breaks and dictate the pace, this fight is not going to go to distance. I don't think it will. There's no way that this fight could go to distance if Canelo's allowed to just kind of do what it is that he wants to do and dictate pace and just kind of work his way or ease his way into the fight. He should be on the back half of that fight. He should be marked up. His eyes should be red, his body should be red or something. Another thing about Bivol, I guess depending on his game plan, Bivol does not always go to the body. And I think against Canelo Alvarez, you got to make those deposits. You got to make those investments to the body early, because Canelo is one of those fighters that will find a way to win. And if you are not making those early deposits to the body, coming down to the championship rounds, Canelo is going to go up a notch. And if he's allowed to just go up a notch and not feel the sores from the work that you've been putting to the body for those first 8, 9, 10 rounds, there's a chance he might get you out of there as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of factors that could go into this fight tonight, man. I'm super excited for this one. I think that this definitely, beyond anything, beyond the outcome, I think this has the chance to be a classic fight. I don't think Caleb Plant was a classic fight. I know Billy Joe Saunders wasn't a classic fight. Yildirim wasn't a classic fight. The last classic fight that Canelo Alvarez has been Kovalev. The Kovalev, the first 2 fights. But after that, it was just kind of, a Rocky Field in here, or Kovalev there, or GGG, the first 2 GGG fights. After that, he got opponents, and then he went on a 168 run, but the opposition that he faced at 168 wasn't really what the fans wanted to see. Now, I did want to see Canelo versus Caleb Plant. I did like that fight. I wish that Caleb would have showed a little bit more dog in that fight. Obviously, we know Caleb is a slick boxer. He knows his way around the ring, great defense, but I just feel like he didn't leave it all in the ring. You know what I mean? I feel like he could have took the fight to Canelo a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? There was definitely a couple times where he stopped Canelo in his tracks, and Canelo wasn't able to get going, and a couple things. But I just really would have wished that Canelo would have kind of did a little bit more in reference to winning that fight. You know what I mean? I'm not Canelo. I wish that Billy Joe would have did a little bit more. I'm not fucking Billy Joe. I wish that Caleb Plant would have did a little bit more in that Canelo fight. I think that Canelo, he started timing him. He started kind of holding him there with that Philly shell. You know what I mean? And then I think once he figured out Caleb Plant's Philly shell, which essentially was the same thing that Billy Joe was doing defensively, just that kind of leaning to the right, and then Canelo was able to just, frame you like kind of like how Shakur Stevenson was framing Oscar Valdez the other night. He was able to frame Caleb Plant, and after he started framing Caleb Plant, Caleb Plant, his that defensive geniusness is really out the window, and Canelo Alvarez was able to have his way. You know what I mean? So, hey man, we'll see. I know these undercards is on, so I know everybody want to get to it. I'm excited. I want to get to it. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, we'll definitely see. Hey guys, like I said, the link is in the link. If you want to join in, ask some questions, holla at me, come live with me. The link is in the chat. I pinned it up there, so let's get it, man. Let me see what I could do. Let me try to invite some. Let me see. Invite. Let me see. Command C. I think that's that in there too. Command. Might be it. Yeah, that's it. All right. Yeah, so I did put the link in there. So anybody want to come in, talk about the fight. And then next week, man. Next week, I mean, while we talking about Canelo and Dimitri Bivol, next week, I mean, we got Undisputed at 154 again for the second time. That's going to be a great fight as well. I think the key to that fight with Jermell Charlo is you know what? I'm gonna hold off on that one because we're gonna do a video about that one. So I'm gonna hold off on that one. I was about to spill the beans on that one, but we're gonna break that one down. We're gonna do a solid breakdown video of that match, of that fight, and how I see that panning out going forward, man. That's a real great fight. And we got Boots on the undercard of that, man. Boots and Castillo Clayton for the IBF eliminated at 147. So, like I said, man, we'll see. We got a lot of good work. We got a lot of good work, a lot of good fights. Showtime is definitely doing a thing. The Zone, great fight last weekend with Katie Taylor and Serrano. ESPN, great fight last weekend. Shakur and Valdez. I think we got Joe Smith coming up here again. Joe Smith and Better Beef coming up. It's a lot of good fights, man. We in the golden era of boxing, man. I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna keep screaming that. And maybe one or two fights that we don't get, but at the end of the day, you can't sit and bitch and moan about one or two fights when we get into all of these great fights, man. You look at 122. Okay, you got Stephen Fulton and MJ. They both champions. If they both could get past, Stephen Fulton has Danny Roman on June 4th. I will be in the house for that one in Minnesota. MJ, he got Ronnie Rios. Hopefully they both could get past their opponents, and then we could get Undisputed at 122. At 130, Shakur Stevenson, WBC, WBO, Ring Magazine champion. He's the clear number one guy. I don't think that we'll see him unify because, I mean, those just aren't money fights. We're just not really interested in seeing Shakur. Well, me as a fan, I'm ready to see Shakur at 135. It's a money division. It's a lot of smoke up there. We know that Shakur is one of the best fighters. He just, had to strip down to make 130, even though I think he can do it again. That might have just been a miscalculation in his weight cut, which is no big deal. But we want to see Shakur against the Lomachenkos. I want to see Shakur against all of those guys. Give him Lomachenko, give him Nakatani, give him all of those guys at 135. I want to see him against the smoke. Kambosos, Devin Haney, Tank, Shakur and Tank, they going back and forth a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of work, man, especially at 135. But I would love to see Shakur Stevenson move up to 135 again. So now we're moving up to 135. With that talk, you got Devin Haney, George Kambosos, June 4th, June 5th, undisputed match. 140, it's already undisputed. 147, we're looking for that undisputed bout with Crawford and Errol Spence. 154, next week, you got the undisputed bout. 160, man, again, 160, it's politics at 160. You got Jamal Charlo with a belt. You got Andre with a belt. You got Golovkin that now has 2 belts. Golovkin and Murata, they was toying with the idea of fighting with each other for the better part of a year and a half, 2 years damn near. So now Golovkin's the unified champion there. I guess it was politics with Andrade and Charlo for why we couldn't get that fight. But again, man, Golovkin, he's supposed to go into a bout at 168 with Canelo in September. But if we could get that fight, man, why not? Why not start the Unify at 160? But traditionally, 160 is one of our glamour divisions in boxing. But truthfully, man, 160 been kind of trash, man, for the better part of the last what? Well, really since Canelo and in Triple G, when that was those fights is what 2017, 2018. So the better part of 4 years, probably going on 5. Middleweight hasn't really been what it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We definitely got to see. But in the last 3 to 4 years, man, middleweight has went down. Again, 168, we got an undisputed champion in Canelo Alvarez at 168. Shit, after June 18th, we'll be one fight away from undisputed at 140 at 175. You know what I mean? We seen cruiserweight undisputed. I mean, damn near we one fight away from heavyweight being undisputed. So, like I said, man, I think it's the golden era of boxing, man. A lot of great fights, man. Great fights. I mean, Mick Conlon and Lee Wood, just the fights, man. We getting some good fights, man. And so, as a boxing fan, I really try my best not to complain. But at the end of the day, man, 1 or 2 fights that we not getting, they definitely don't. Let me see my poster, man. My poster winning, man. You know, I'm a neat freak. I gotta make sure my, you know what I mean. See, gotta make sure my man Floyd is on point. There we go. Better than it was. There we go. Yeah, man, but definitely like to see it, man. I love the way the sport is going. And at the end of the day, man, I just think that we in a special place right now. I think 5 to 10 years, we're going to be able to look back at 2021, 2022, and really be able to say, like, damn, man, I was a fan in boxing at this age, during this time, this golden era. We got all of these fights, all of these undisputed champions, all of these great fights, man. I mean, even you think to the Crawford and Spence fight, man, this is going to be a big fight, man. This is probably, I mean, I would think I'm 33, man. I think this may be the biggest fight of my generation, you know. And if not, at least the biggest fight in the last 10 years, I think, man. I mean, granted, you know, you got Wilder and Fury, man, but this one, man, this Canelo, I mean, excuse me, this Earl Spence and Bud, man, I think this is going to be one of those ones. I cannot wait to get on here and talk about that one, especially when that thing get announced, man. I'm saving up my little pennies now because wherever that fight is at, I will be there live and direct. I promise you that. Promise you that, man. So, no, man, like I said, just a little bit of pre-fight talk, man. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it, man. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell them to come over to A-Side Boxing, man. Check out the videos, man. I try my best to put out the best content, whether it's breaking fights down, whether it's, you know, possibly talking about prospects, whether it's putting putting divisions on notice about, you know, just different fights and guys and stuff like that. Hopefully, you know, we like to keep the drama to a minimum. We boxing fans over here. I'm not pro. I mean, I'm pro PBC. I'm pro DAZN. I'm pro Top Rank. I'm pro all of those guys, man. Showtime, Fox, all of it. If they putting fights on, I'm watching. You know what I'm saying? I don't get paid from none of those guys. So at the end of the day, you don't ever have to worry about me providing bias, you know, to one over the other. You know what I'm saying? So I just like to get on here, talk about the fights, break them down, and see where they go. But either way, man, we're going to jump off of this thing a little live, man. I appreciate everybody for checking in. Like I said, tell a friend to tell a friend. This is your boy Truth. That's short for Truth of a Narrative. A-Side Boxing Talk. Holla at me.